Hey MCARBO brother, I'm Chris Nelson, president at MCARBO. I'm really excited to introduce a new Mossberg 930-935 trigger spring kit for your Mossberg semi-automatic autoloading shotgun. A fantastic upgrade, a custom designed Sear spring to reduce your trigger pull by nearly 30%. Excellent upgrade, simple, quick, and easy. We wanted to introduce something similar for the semi-automatic shotguns like we had for the pump action 500-835 trigger spring kit. This idea came from the MCARBO Brotherhood, came from you guys, so we're really excited. It's here, we listen to you guys, we listen to your ideas, we value and appreciate your feedback. Let's jump on the tabletop, put this baby in. Parts and tools needed for this build: the Mossberg 930-935 trigger spring kit by MCARBO, a 1/16 inch punch, a 1/8 inch punch, a hammer, razor blade, block of wood with a hole in it, and as always guys, make sure you're wearing iPro. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and check our firearms together, make sure they're clear. Check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine tube. This firearm's clear. Before we get started, let's see what kind of factory trigger pull we're working with. 5 pounds, 1.5 ounces. Let's take one more to confirm. 5 pounds, 2.6 ounces. Now let's go ahead and start by removing the front and rear takedown pins. Go ahead and take your block of wood with a hole in it and position it so that you can start on the rear pin first. Take your 1/8 inch punch, go ahead and tap out that rear pin. Now we'll go ahead and slide that block of wood with a hole in it right underneath that forward pin. Tap that out. Now we can remove our trigger assembly from the receiver. Settle that aside. Let's focus on the trigger assembly. Just want to point out real quick that these pins are universal, so don't worry about keeping them separated. Now let's quickly review the trigger assembly. You've got your hammer right here, locks right into the Sear right here, and you've got your Sear spring right here. This is what we'll be replacing. Don't worry about this blue spring over here. It's for the carrier operation. We'll leave that alone. But we're going to focus on our Sear spring right here. A real fast and simple installation. Really love how quick and easy this is. Yeah, we're going to smoothen that up real fast. Also want to point out we'll likely just put some grease with PTFE on this engagement surface here. Just helps smooth it up a little bit. All right, let's do it. Now take your 1/16 inch punch. You're going to follow along the top of this trigger linkage here and capture the top of that Sear spring, thereby compressing and removing it just like so. Real simple and easy. Go ahead and set that aside. Now let's go ahead and remove our MCARBO Mossberg 930-935 trigger spring kit. Now let's do a quick side-by-side comparison. The MCARBO springs here on the right. You can see the springiness difference. Yeah, major difference. Beautiful. Go ahead and install the MCARBO spring. Set your stock spring aside. Now we're going to install the MCARBO Sear spring. Fortunately, it is easier to compress. The only thing that makes it a challenge now is that the Sear is not under tension. Same with the trigger linkage here. So see how the trigger linkage and the Sear just moves around on you. Now, fortunately, we can put some tension on that trigger linkage by putting a finger down here on the trigger, which is good. And that's how we're going to go about it. So we're going to take our MCARBO Sear spring, insert that on the tab on the Sear, as you can see there. Push down on the trigger linkage. Now we're going to compress the MCARBO Sear spring and get it on that trigger linkage. There we go. Now you can use a razor blade to help you compress it a little bit, or your punch, but it's real simple. It's a much lighter spring, and all you want to do is get it on the trigger linkage here and the Sear. Now that we've got our MCARBO Sear spring installed, let's go ahead and just test and make sure it functions properly. Perfect. Ooh, that release feels good too. Nice and light. Now we're going to get a little further enhancement out of this. Since we do have quite a large surface area here between the hammer and the Sear engagement, we've got a little bit of grease with PTFE, which is Teflon. We're actually going to install a little bit of that on that surface just to really help slicken it up a little bit. Always helps get a little extra reduction. Nice. That feels good. All right, let's go ahead and reinstall trigger assembly. Now let's go ahead and drop our trigger assembly into the receiver. Go ahead and turn your shotgun upright. Go ahead and take your trigger assembly. We're going to drop it right in. Make sure the hammer is locked. Drop it right in. Go ahead and make sure these little sleeves right here are in position. You might have to move them back and forth. They do actually shimmy around on you. Drop it right in like so. Now we're going to insert our takedown pins. Remember, these are universal, front and rear. These little single line notch ends are going to go down first. So drop them right in. Same time, line up your trigger assembly. Then get your hammer, just small little taps, work them in. At the same time, you can also take your punch to finish the job. Good to go. Now that we get our shotguns back together, let's go ahead and do a quick function check. Place it on safe, pull the trigger, nothing. Place it on fire. Man, that's nice. All right, let's go ahead and test this trigger pull. Now let's see what kind of modified trigger pull we got. 3 pounds, 8.6 ounces. Let's take one more to confirm. 3 pounds, 5.5 ounces. Well, there you have it, guys. From 5 pounds down to 3.5 pounds. Substantial upgrade for your Mossberg 930-935 shotgun. A 30% trigger pull reduction. Really can't beat that. Don't want to go any lower than that. So really happy to introduce it. This came from the MCARBO Brotherhood. A fantastic idea. Thank you for your feedback and your input. We always appreciate your support. Thanks, guys, for watching. As always, happy shooting.